What's going on, guys? Hope you're doing well, and it is that time of the year again. Now, if you've been watching this channel, I have made uh, the announcement a few times that I will not be doing a top 10 best movies of 2020 until probably late January, early February, to just get the opportunity to see a couple other things that I just haven't had the ability to watch yet, that could be in contention. Because right now, I'm only looking at about 5 movies that I have on the best list. 6, 7, and 8, and 9, I don't think really deserve to be there. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But today we're talking about the worst movies. It doesn't get much worse than this. Yeah, I don't think I'll be seeing any more movies to go on this list. I could be wrong. But yeah, all the crap came out in the beginning of the year. So we're here to talk about it. This is my top 10 worst movies list of 2020. I have 2 dishonorable mentions. The first one is Gretel and Hansel, a little movie that was very unappealing to look at. It was very dull. It was very boring. Um, and the story just didn't move as quick as I'd like it to, and I was just checked out by the end. And next up, it's My Spy with Dave Bautista, a little movie I thought was going to be kind of good. The trailers actually kind of had me, but it was just really kind of poorly written, not very funny, and just kind of cliched and stupid. Um, but now we move into the top 10. And boy, looking at these movies, it's just like, oof, I do not want to watch any of these again. And number 10 is a movie that I didn't think was going to be as bad as it was, and that is Scoob, the new animated Scooby-Doo movie. It was hard to get through. It was so kiddie. It was so uh, just poorly written, so unentertaining. It was really hard to get through. The story was just not very engaging to me. The first 5 to 10 minutes are the best, but then once Simon Cowell comes on the screen, it just the movie gets really bad. And you could guess that another one of these goofy little animated movies ends with a dance sequence. So how original is that? Moving on to number 9, I just watched the original film before I saw this, and I actually liked the original movie quite a bit. I thought it was not bad. But this is Brahms the Boy 2. Basically took everything you liked about the first movie, throws it away, tries to do new things that just don't work. The movie's kind of boring, and the payoff just isn't there. Moving on to number 8, a movie that I actually enjoyed the first half of it, but then as things started to unfold and you think answers are starting to come to fruition, the movie has such an abrupt ending that it really is unforgivable. And that's The Turning, uh, movie that came out in January, I believe. And, you know, I was into it, the story had me, but then all of a sudden, the movie's last 10 minutes just it doesn't really feel like much of an ending. It just feels like a lot of stuff just kind of edited together, and then the movie just ends. You know, it didn't really make any sense, and it was a really disappointing ending, and that turned the movie into a pretty sour experience. Number 7, talk about a movie that's just a mess. That's Fantasy Island, Blumhouse's Fantasy Island. This movie um, just went off the deep end. When you start having things happen with these characters and the way the story kind of progresses, once the second act starts to go and we get into the third act, it just is so ridiculous, really. And Lucy Hale's character is just a joke in this movie. Like it was just really bad. Number 6, talk about going from one of your best movies to one of your worst. It's Robert Downey Jr. in Doolittle. He goes from I am Iron Man to having some animal fart on you or something. I don't really remember. All I know is the CGI was really bad. The movie was really just hard to get through, kind of corny, and just it did not work at all. Number 5 is one of the most boring movies you'll see of the year. One of the most uninteresting, slow, unappealing movies you'll see all year. And that is The Grudge. I think it was the first release of 2020, something like that. And this movie was just the most boring thing I've ever seen in my life. I remember sitting there going, this is not visually appealing, and it's just, it's hard to get through. A lot of these movies are hard to get through, and The Grudge is no different. I might have dozed off, actually, a couple times, but I tried, I really did. It just didn't work for me. Yeah. Moving on to number 4, we have a movie with horrible CGI. We have a movie with a laughably video game plot. And that really is what tanks this movie. And really the horrible plot. And that's Bloodshot. It's supposed to be one of the best 4K discs of the year. Couldn't pick it up, though. The movie's just too bad. I don't understand why Vin Diesel wanted to make this movie. The story felt like a video game. It felt like a video game. The third act of this film, when characters are like flying through the air and falling through things, it just looked horrible. All right, moving on to the 3 worst movies of 2020 for me. Number 3 might be a bit of a shock to a lot of you, but this movie to me was the most childish, uninspired, poorly written, poorly constructed movies that just did not work for me on any account. And that is Sonic the Hedgehog. This movie to me was, I don't think it was hard to get through, but I was just kind of in shock and awe on some of the decisions and choices that this movie decided to make. And you as an audience member are just supposed to go along with it because the effects are somewhat okay and the sound effects are good and the score is okay. But then if you really step back and look at it, it is a movie that just is ridiculous. Jim Carrey has the most random dance sequence I've ever seen, and yeah, I hated it. I really did. But I didn't hate it as much as my number 2 pick, which is a movie that did not work at all. Comedy-wise, the chemistry between the 2 leading actresses, there was no chemistry, and you couldn't believe that these 2 were friends for their whole life. And that's Like a Boss, the Tiffany Haddish Rose Byrne movie. Their chemistry was not there. Did not feel like they knew each other. Everybody was phoning it in. The mother from Grown Ups, her name is for some reason escaping me right now, but she is playing the most cartoon character you'll almost ever see in 2020. Pedro Pascal kind of ranks up there as a really cartoony character from Wonder Woman 84, also Kristen Wiig, but we don't want to talk about that movie. If you want to see my review for it, full review is up now. But yeah, Like a Boss, number 2. Just didn't work. And number 1, the worst movie of the year. I was almost in shock when I saw that this movie was being marketed as a romantic comedy. It was more like a depressing drama that just failed. This movie is a failure, and it is downhill. No, I don't mean the movie went downhill, which it did, but that's the title of the film, Downhill. Believe it or not, this movie came out on Valentine's Day. The Will Ferrell movie. It is so bad. It is so bad, and the plot is so stupid. Uh, Will Ferrell and his family are staying at a ski lodge or something, and they're out having lunch, and they're having their routine avalanche or whatever, and some of the snow gets on the deck, and Julia Louis-Dreyfus's character, instead of just, she was so worried about this, just getting out of there and running with your husband. No, just stay there and let it happen. You know, you got a little snow on you. Get over it. And she takes it a little too far. There's a really weird scene in a bathroom with her, and the way the movie ends, it's like a little bit of snow falls off the roof, and now we have to look at each other like, oh, you screwed up again. Like, what? You kidding me? You gonna do this when it rains too? I mean, come on. You probably don't know what I'm talking about because you've never seen the movie, and if you haven't, that's a blessing because this is horrible. And yeah, guys, that's my top 10 worst movies of 2020. Don't plan on ever revisiting any of these movies. Look, some people have wanted me to watch Sonic the Hedgehog again with them, but I haven't had the nerve to do it because I would be ranting the whole time, and I just ruin everybody else's experience, and that's just not something I want to do. So that's my top 10 worst, guys. Comment your thoughts down below. What do you think about this list? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Big show coming today. Quickie Wednesday Live, the final one of 2020. Big digital blowout happening today. Around 15 codes, maybe more. I'll be giving away today, so definitely come on over. Check that out. Also, big digital, what am I saying? Big Blu-ray update, 4K Blu-ray update coming as well. Probably tomorrow, maybe the day after. I'm still waiting for 2 things to come in the mail, so we're just really being patient with that, and I can't really do the video until those things come, so we'll have to wait and see what happens with that. But yeah, guys, that's what it for me. Thank you so much for watching this top 10 worst movies of 2020 list. If you disagree, like I said, don't be upset. Just comment down below. Let me know your thoughts, your opinions. What's your rankings? How do you rank some of these movies? But yeah, guys, that's about it for me. Again, thanks so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Over and out.